Paul Gallen, welcome to Grandstand. You crossed a big hurdle last year with the series win. Did you cross another psychological barrier with the manner of victory in Game 2?
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Look, I just think every Origin game's unique and every Origin game's important, and you want to win every game, and I think that's what it comes down to. Game 1 was done. We knew areas that we could improve on. We had a couple of new players come in with myself and Brett Morris, and going down there 1-0 down in a place that was probably more pro-Queensland than New South Wales, as you said, was a really big hurdle, and we played really well and managed to overcome that, and we put ourselves where we need to be now, so we go up to Queensland for a decider, and we'll be out there doing our best.
But you did send a message. There was a lot of line bending from your team, the young forwards and your good self. That's important for the team.
Yeah, it does, and I think they say Origins are won on the back of forwards, and they generally are. There's always exceptions. In certain games, but I thought the boys started in Game 1. I really thought that first 40 minutes of Game 1 they were very, very dominant. I thought the second half, was probably more even, but certainly down there, we probably played better than Queensland. We ran more metres than them, and that's what you need to do. And it's people think it's special and think we've done something special, but we haven't. It's our job. It's what we need to do. So we need to do it again on Wednesday night, and if we do that better than Queensland, we'll get the win.
Another area of strength in Game 2 was the defence against a very potent Queensland team. Has that area of the game been reinforced in the build-up to this one?
Yeah, it was, and there was a lot of scrambling for each other. We did the video this morning. We worked really hard for each other and scrambled for each other well. But in saying that, probably 3 of the tries they scored were, not up to the standard we want to be at. So there's areas of improvement for our side, a lot of improvement. Whereas I don't feel Queensland. I think Queensland they've had this side for a long time, and they've obviously peaked for a number of years there, and I think there's still some left in us. So if we can reach those heights and we can play to our potential on the night, I'm pretty sure we can win.
You weren't wrong with your quip about Billy Slater carrying the injury into Game 2. So in a sense, is this Queensland team at the top of the hill and just rolling down the other side a little bit?
Look, you never want to say that. You never write champions off, mate. And they've got some individually some pretty good players. You feel for a player like Billy. You never want to see a champion player out of the competition for the rest of the year. And certainly, while we had to do a job on him that night, I do feel for him the fact that he's not in the game the rest of the year. You want players like that in the game, and it's unfortunate for him, but they'll put a pretty fair player back there in Greg Inglis, and we have to be just as dominant on him.
You don't often see Queensland drop a player, though, as they've done with Daly Cherry Evans. Does that send another message?
I think it just goes to show where we're at. I think, as you said, we're on the up. There are some areas where we're getting to them now, and I suppose we're forcing them changes, whereas in the past they haven't had to make changes because they've been successful. And we're coming back now, and we're forcing their hand basically, and it is a good feeling, but it only matters what happens in that 80 minutes next Wednesday. I can say whatever I want here. It's about that 80 minutes.
But it's as though the Blues have put on a Queensland hat. You've gone with exactly the same team, and that confidence in the halves shown by the coach, the selection panel has been borne out, and Trent Hodkinson had another terrific game last night, so he's been rewarded.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one person, and I'm sure most of the guys are here, that weren't concerned whatsoever with Trent Hodkinson being picked at halfback. There was a lot of talk about it and people saying that they couldn't pick him, but we know what he does for this side. We know what he did last year, and he's a great player, he's a great leader on the field. He's very calm and composed, and he steers us around really, really well. So he deserved his spot, and he's grabbed it with both hands, and it's good to see him turning those performances at Origin level, back at club level as well, and he's going to go into Game 3 with a lot of confidence.
The big question mark is the hooker. Surely Robbie Farah is not going to play with that broken hand.
Oh, well, he's having surgery today, so he'll do his best to play. And look, Farah's a guy who's been here a number of years now, been a major part of our team, so he deserves every opportunity, and I think they'll give him that. They'll certainly bring in people to cover that just in case he doesn't pull through, but I know how hard he works, and for his sake, fingers crossed he gets through it.
But there's going to be a bit of loophole exploration, isn't there, with Michael Ennis coming into the team?
Yeah, hooker's a key position. We need someone to train, and I'm still waiting to find out whether Michael Ennis is actually allowed to come into camp and train with us. If he is allowed to come into camp and train with us, I don't think there's going to be an issue. If he's not, and he can only train the captain's run, I think that'll be a bit tough, but I'll wait and find out around here what the exact rule is.
What about your personal fitness? You had a couple of moments in game 2. How are you?
Yeah, look, I've never heard of rib before. It seems to be the older I get, that the new injuries are coming up at the moment, which is a bit tough. But yeah, look, they're going to be sore for a long time, so I've been told by the doctors. So yeah, I'll be right. I'll get on the field, and once I'm out there, I'll be okay.
A word about the young enforcer, David Clemmer. He's really setting a mark.
Oh, look, mate, he's a terrific young talent, and he's just a footy player. He just loves going out there and ripping in, and that's what he does. And I mean, all this talk about him and things like that, it's just because of the way that he plays. And personally, I don't think you should buy into it. I don't think you should read a paper. I don't think you should worry about it or even do media at this stage of his career. I just think he has to worry about going out there and playing the way he plays and let his football do the talking. There's been plenty of talk about some of his comments to certain players, but in the heat of the moment, things get said, and I wouldn't be discouraging him from playing exactly the way he's playing at the moment. That's for sure.
He's 21.
21 years old, big kid, good kid, wants to learn, trains hard. Mate, you can't knock a bloke like that too much, I don't think.
For Queensland to bring Josh Papali back into the team, does that send another sign?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been there before and done it before. That's probably why they went with someone like Papali over some other players, and he's played well there before. So look, that's an issue for them to worry about. I'm not going to be worried about Queensland.
Why will you win?
Oh look, I think just how purely how much we want to win, and how much we're going to play for each other. I think that's going to be the difference on Wednesday night.
Paul Gallen, thanks for joining Grandstand.
Thank you.